today we'll try to keep on the topic of the supremacy of Christ, but I got some other stories that I'd like to say that eventually ties into it, hopefully. And the central truth around that Jesus Christ is the supreme overall creation. And so yesterday we were going to the reunion and on this 2-lane highway, and we were going down, and then we saw some cars braking. And so we decided to brake. And then on the right of us, there was another car going completely, 35, 40 miles an hour on the other side of the, shoulder where the gravel was. And so, that wasn't a big deal. But the interesting fact was later, our other relatives told us that they were waiting 25, 30 minutes because somebody was life flighted. So I don't know if it was the same person that caused it. But it got to me thinking that, we watch, Star Trek and alternate universes and stuff like that. And you got to start to thinking, what if that was, me? We might not be here today. So glory to God that we're here today.
Amen. Amen.
Even if we are in bad health, but if we didn't have bad health, we wouldn't have any health at all. And so what that got me thinking was, what's the Bible for, and who is it for? It's guiding the lost to Christ, but it's also for the poor and for the middle class, because what does it bring us? It brings us hope and it brings us faith. And there's treasures in the next life that we don't see here, because the things that we see are temporal and the things that we don't see are eternal. So then I'm thinking the treasures, well, what's the next treasure in the next life? Well, that would be with Jesus, all the time, every day in heaven, and eventually the New Jerusalem. So I got to thinking, well, we have that here right now. We have Jesus with us 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, because he says in Revelations, I'll never leave you or forsake you. So he's here with us all the time and every day. And so in our poverty, we have to, if poorness and stuff like that. I don't know if I'm resonating off that. And we almost have to look at it as a gift, poverty, because we see that throughout the Bible, there's not too many rich people getting into heaven. And like it says in Matthew 19:24, again I say to you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter heaven. So we got to think of a camel. What's the camel? A camel weighs 600 to 1,000 pounds, going through an eye of a needle. That doesn't sound too easy. And so, we think about all these, rich people and stuff like that, and then we're told to go vote for a moral and godly person. Well, the people who we usually vote for, they're millionaires, aren't they? And so if these godly men are millionaires, and Matthew 19:24 says it's hard for a rich man, how are they supposed to guide us into, our moral duties and such like that? And I don't think they can. I think the poor, we need the poor and the middle class, because those are the people who guide the country. Because the prayers of them are easier to hear than the rich man to God. And so in all these things, and poorness and poverty, I was starting to thinking that we should be content in all things, as seen in Philippians 4:11. That's like Grandma always says. And so I thought that was a pretty neat idea. But so now we'll get back to the supremacy of Christ. And so we'll read Hebrews chapter 1. I chose the whole chapter because it basically is the whole deal. God, after he spoke long ago to the fathers and the prophets in many portions and in many ways in these last days, has spoken to us in his Son, whom he appointed heir of all things, through whom also he made the world. And he is the radiance of his glory and exact representation of his nature, and uphold all things by the word of his power. When he had made purifications of sin, he sat down on the right hand of the majesty on high, having become as much better than the angels as he has inherited a more excellent name than they. For to which of the angels did he ever say, you are my son, today I have begotten you, and again I will be a father to him, and he shall be a son to me. And when he again brings the firstborn into the world, he says, and let all the angels of God worship him. And of the angels he says, who makes his angels winds, and his ministers a flame of fire. But of the Son he says, your throne, O God, is forever and ever, and the righteous scepter of the scepter of his kingdom. You have loved righteousness and hated lawlessness. Therefore God, your God, has anointed you with the oil of gladness above your companions. And you, Lord, in the beginning laid the foundations of the earth, and the heavens are the works in your hands. They will perish, but you will remain, and they will become old like a garment. And like a mantle you will roll them up. Like a garment they also will be changed. But you are the same, and your years will not come to an end. But to which of the angels has he ever said, sit at my right hand, until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet? Are they not all ministering spirits sent out to render service for the sake of those who will inherit salvation? So we see in Hebrews 1:1 the supremacy of Christ and his future reign in 1,000 years. And so we see over here, let's see, where was it? For God, your God has anointed you, and with oil gladness above your companions. And you, Lord, in the beginning laid the foundation of the earth. So that got me thinking, God never changes, and he never will change, because the God that's with us today, it was the God of Abraham, God of Isaac, and the God that surrounded Jesus whenever his time here on earth. So in that we can have the security we need for the future. We have financial security because it doesn't matter, because our treasure's in the next life. And we have spiritual security because Jesus will guide us through the dark and into the light.